ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथं वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णदेवा सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौरङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, भगवद गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद श्रील गुरुदेव की जय, गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल, संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, संस्कृतम की जय। Hare Krishna. So let's begin. Welcome again, everybody, for today's second session of our Sanskrit for Scriptural study. Okay, so let's do today's session 2. So today we are going to discuss Sanskrit language system as well as grammatical system. What little bit entry into what Panini Maharshi has created for us to kind of understand the language and make our own sentences and understand how the things are written. Okay, so initially it will be little fun, but towards the end it gets very technical. So pay attention, everybody, and stay focused. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, what we are going to discuss today, we will first do basics of Sanskrit language because we want everybody to be on the same board. Maybe some of you already know what they are, but we will just revise them quickly. And there is Sanskrit as a wonderful assets. It has a free word order and a natural word order, what it is. We'll discuss them. And then we'll discuss a little bit of what is the purpose of a grammar. Why do we need grammar? And then what is the complexity of building a grammar for Sanskrit language? There's some special concerns there. And then we will then understand then what is the task Panini Maharshi had to face and how did he resolve it actually. So what is the system? How he invented a system called base forms and suffixes. So that is the like crux of today's session. If we can understand this, like how he did this, then actually, we can swim through the rest of the, course very easily. Okay. And then there is a concept called thinking in Sanskrit. What does it mean? And we will also try to teach Rama Shabdaha because we want gradually, participants to memorize. So we'll try to do that, and then some homework for all of you, which you're all eagerly waiting. And then we'll also show how to type in Devanagari. Okay, and some little minor announcements. Okay, so let's begin. So first, let's prepare ourselves to fall in love again. Okay, we are trying to fall in love with Krishna, but we will also try to fall in love with this lady, Bhasha. Bhasha is a Strilinga padam. Okay, Sri Linga. We'll talk about lingas in Linga means gender in Sanskritam. There are three genders. But Bhasha is actually a Strilinga Shabda. So Sanskritam is Napunsaka, but if you combine that in a conjunct form or a Samastapadam or a compound word, it becomes a female. So we want to try to fall in love with this lady, the Sanskrit language, so that she can enamor us and take us to Krishna through the various scriptures and of our acharyas. So for that, the concept, I try to connect with is the verse written by Srila Rupa Goswami, right? युवतीनां यथा यूनि यूनां च युवतौ यथा मनोभिरमते तद्वन् मनोभिरमतां त्वयि. So he says, just as a young boy gets attracted to the young girl, and young girls get attracted to young boy, in the same way, but in a transcendental way, let me be always thinking about you and being attached to you with the same intensity. Basically, he's talking about the intensity, right? How it's very spontaneous for a young, when the maturity comes, boys and girls, you don't need to teach them what to do. Automatically, they are looking for certain things and they are attracted to certain things. So similarly, he's talking about it, spontaneous attraction. Krishna, let me always think about you. So, acharyas always connect with the worldly things to help us understand the spiritual things. So similarly, we can think of this bhasha as a female and we'll try to understand. See, when we want to fall in love with somebody, we need to understand how they talk, how they behave, how they act, how they express themselves. So that's the whole point. Initial part, we are going to discuss what is the language system, how she expresses herself, what are the proper ways to talk with her, essentially, in that way. Okay. So first is Sanskritam. That is actually the Sanskrit name for Sanskrit language. Okay, Sanskritam. So what does Sanskritam mean? Samyak Kritam iti Sanskritam. Okay, this is a compound word. The sam is nothing but Samyak Kritam. Samyak means very well, Kritam means done. A language which is very well done is nothing but Sanskritam. Okay, so in what ways it's very well done, that's what we will see. So first important thing is that yatha likamaha tatha eva patamaha. Likamaha means as we read, as we write. Patamaha as we read. But in English, the sentence order reverses. So we speak the way we write. That's what is in English. So what it means is that whenever somebody sees a Sanskrit sentence, if somebody is trained in how to pronounce them properly, according to the vocal, positions of the tongue and everything, that we will teach in the next session. What is the proper way to pronounce the letters? We will revise it again. Then everybody pronounces that in the same way. There's no confusion. Essentially, the letters when they are attached together, they give the same sound all the time. Unlike English, for example, put is put, but is but. Even though ut is same for both of them, the way it's pronounced is different. So now, but then Sanskritam is not like that. Whenever you see like for example, amaha, it's always amaha only. Likhamaha, patamaha, vadamaha, chalamaha. That's all. So there is no confusion basically. So whatever we write is what we speak. So that way, everybody speaks the same language. You don't need to fine tune. Once you know how to pronounce individual letters correctly, then everybody's pronunciation will be pakka. Of course, we all have some accents from our, other language influence, but otherwise, it's the language itself doesn't have that inbuilt inefficiencies. Okay. Next one is one word has many meanings. This you would have seen already from the scriptural study. The term used is polysemous or something. So, for example, Keshaha. Keshaha is hair. Okay, Keshava we say, right? Krishna is Keshava, one who has beautiful hair. But if you split it as a compound, then Ka plus Ishaha is also Keshaha. Ka is nothing but Brahma and Ishaha is Shiva. So in one verse, it's given that Kesha Sheshadhi Agamya. So this spontaneous devotional service is unreachable by Kesha Sheshadi, even by Brahma and Shiva and even the Ananta Shesha. So for that, when I was reading that, I was like, Kesha, what is this? Why his hair is coming here? But when I read the commentary, it's like this is an understanding the acharyas are giving. So it's like, wow, so nice, right? So it's like, so once we know the logic of how the words are combined, letters are combined, then we can have multiple meanings. And guna, for example, this is a common one. Guna is rope, like with which Yashoda Mata ties Krishna, Damodar Leela. Or material mode, Sattva, Rajas, Tama. Or qualities, we have Sattva Guna, our own, what is this, Daiva Guna and Asuri Guna, right? Like qualities, like that. So, we have multiple meanings. So, based on the context, we need to know what it is. And Acharya's commentaries definitely will help us to point in a particular direction. Otherwise, we could make unlimited meanings which are not in synchronous with the actual text. And many words for one meaning. So, even if you want to, for example, Vamshi, Murali, Vamshika, Muralika, for Krishna's flute, just for flute, there are different meanings. So similarly, we have, this is well known, Vishnu, Narayana, Krishna, Vaikunta, Damodara, Hrishikesha, Keshava, Madhava, all pointing to Vishnu Tattva, right? Like that. There are many actually, maybe 36 of them in Amarakosha. So Amarakosha has a compilation of the commonly used uh, things within the world, not even this world, Swarga everywhere, and their Paryaya Padani or synonyms it gives actually. So then okay, so what we need to do in order to fall in love with her, the Sanskrit language, is we need to consider her as it's our language. Okay. So one thing we all know is that Sanskritam is like a scholarly language. Many acharyas have expressed, excuse me, express their the scriptures, their the concepts or Vedanta concepts, everything through this language. So we always feel like, oh, it's something official. I have to pay respects. I'm not able to approach her, right? But then when we try to make it our language, in the sense that we can speak in this language. For example, whole day whatever happens, actually we can speak in Sanskrit. So when we make it our own, then that bar, that the what to say, farness or what we experience will be reduced. Like how we have the same concept in bhakti, right? Vaidhi bhakti and where Raganuga bhakti. Vaidhi bhakti, we talk about rules and regulations, and we have to chant, we have to do this, and awe and reverence, and Ishvara, Parama, Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha. Oh, Krishna, Krishna, yeah, yeah, you're great, I'm so small, right? But then gradually, we need to evolve and try to come into a personal relationship with Krishna. Mamatva Ankita. Mamatva means minus. Ankita means it's attached or influenced by. So when we have that feeling for Krishna, then we feel like it's we can feel a personal connection with him and more affectionate, like that. So then, so of course the respect is there. Respect cannot be neglected, but it's more intimate, basically. That's the whole point. So for that, actually, I remember this verse from Govinda Lilamrita, which is like very striking. I'll try to sing this. Jaya Jaya Gokula Mangala Kanda Vraja Yuvati Tati Bhrungara Vinda Pratipada Vardhita Nanda Nanda Shri Govinda Achyuta Natashanda. This verse is so intoxicating. You cannot stop by reciting one time, actually. So with your permission, I'll try to recite again. Jaya Jaya Gokula Mangala Kanda Vraja Yuvati Tati Bhrungara Vinda Pratipada Vardhita Nanda Nanda Shri Govinda Achyuta Natashanda. So what this verse is telling is, I will not explain this verse together now. At the end, maybe in question answers, if we have time, and if anybody remembers, you can bring it up. I'll try to explain. But the main word I wanted to talk about is this Gokula Mangala Kanda. Gokula is, we know Gokula, and Mangala is auspiciousness. Kanda is actually a root, actually, in Sanskrit. Root, or the root. It's the root of auspiciousness for the Gokula, right? That is what is addressing, Krishna is being addressed as. Actually, they are trying to wake up Krishna. So this is a shloka they are reciting. Then, but then in a vernacular language, or from my language, like Telugu or Kannada, which I know, the Kanda actually has a very affectionate connotation to it. It means, oh, darling one, oh, son, oh, dear one, like that. Like how a mother calls, like for example, mother calls the children, oh, Nana, oh, Bangari, or what is this? Appa, in Kannada, they call him Appa. Even though it's a child, actually, you call him father. Even Krishna calls Arjuna Tata in one of the verses in Bhagavad Gita. Tata is actually father, but Krishna is calling Arjuna Tata. So it's a very affectionate way to call somebody. So even though the root is actually saying that it's a root of everything, but in my heart, this affectionate feeling comes. Oh, Kanda, oh, darling one, like that. So nice. So once we have that affection, then, we don't feel so intimidated with the language. That's the whole point I'm trying to tell. Okay. So now let's continue with what are the basics of Sanskrit language. One is cardinality, okay, vachanani. So we'll also try to learn some of the Sanskrit terms, okay. So this is called Sangya Padani. I will tell later. Sangya means technical terms, okay. So we'll try to also learn and we'll try to memorize, and because we'll keep repeating this all the time. So you need to know what is what. So for this, in your notes, you should make a separate section called technical terms and try to make a mapping from one to one. So in case later on, if you get a doubt, what is vachanam, then you know easily how to refer to it. Okay. So vachanani is nothing but cardinality. Trini vachanani, three categories are there. Okay. Everybody should have known this already. One is called ekavachanam, means singular. Dvivachanam, dual. Bahuvachanam, plural. Okay. So ekavachanam refers to one person or a thing. Dvivachanam refers to two people. And bahuvachanam refers to three or more. So the one difference between our vernacular languages, including English, is that they don't have the middle part, dvivachanam. We always have singular and plural. So even if it's two people, we refer to as bahuvachanam only, like they. We only tell they. We don't tell something special word for that. So that's why Sanskrit language adds an extra dimension here. Okay. So questions we'll try to answer at the end. Okay. You can keep sending chat messages if you wish. Okay. Next. So then, unless you need a clarification from what I'm speaking, then you can raise your hand. We can discuss. Okay. So for example, Krishna. Only one Krishna is there. Krishna. Two people are there, like Rama, Krishna. So together, if you want to refer to them as one unit, there is a special way you need to express that. Rama Krishna. And if suppose many Gopas are there, Gopaha. Okay. So the form is different based on which vachana you're using. But you could also say Rama Krishna Cha. Rama and Krishna. That's a different. But in a compound word, as a single unit, then there's some rules we need to follow. Okay. So then the implication for this, we can see it in this Anucheda written by Jiva Goswami, where he defining what is Sankirtanam. He says, Bahubir militva kirtanam Sankirtanam iti uchyate. So one connotation means that Bahubir means Bahuvachanam, means more than three people. So when three or more people together come together do Kirtanam, means like Hare Krishna Kirtan or any bhajan, then it is called Sankirtanam. Of course, another meaning of Sankirtanam is Samyak Kirtanam, where everybody comes together in different way, like book distribution or any other thing. That's also Sankirtanam. But this one definition actually uses this meaning. Bahubihi means many people. That means it cannot be singular. It cannot be Dvivachanam. He is telling three or more people should come together. That's what one thing. And another example we can relate to from Bhagavad Gita, which I gathered here, is that, for example, in the beginning of chapter 1, after Duryodhana approaches Dronacharya and he starts telling about his party and Pandava's party, then Pitamaha, to encourage, Pitamaha is nothing but Bhishmadev, to encourage Duryodhana, he first blew his conch shell. And then followed by that, Pandavas, Madhava and Pandava, which is like Arjuna and Krishna, they blew their conch shell. Then followed by slowly everybody all together, finally everybody blew their conch shells. So then here you can clearly see that, for example, Bhishmadev blew only one conch shell. So it's called Pitamaha Shankam Dadmau. Then Madhavaha Pandavaschaiva Divyau Shankau Pradatmatuhu. Sarve Pritak Pritak Shankan Dadmuhu. Dadmuhu. See, Dadmuhu is like blue. Okay. This is a verb. That verb also is changing based on the actually the person who is blowing, okay, not on the object, okay, because it's only grandfather, one grandfather, then it's a singular. Because the two people, it took a dual form. Because many people separately blew their own conch shells, it took a plural form. And similarly, there's only one conch shell here, there is two conch shells, there are many. So you see, right? So that's what this is, of course, a complicated example, but it's something for you to mull over and analyze it. That will be part of your homework. But as long as you understand this concept, that there are multiple vachanas, and that actually increases the dimension within our language system for us to process. So that's one thing to remember. Okay. Gradually, we'll try to memorize all some of them, whatever is needed. Next concept is called genders. Okay, this genders concept is there in every language. Masculine, feminine, neuter. In Sanskritam, they are called Pullingam, Strilingam, Napunsakalingam. Okay, Pullingam. Pum we know, right? Pum is man, like that. Stri we know, female. Napum we know, neuter. So that way we can easily, you just have to attach lingam word to it. That's all. Then, so the main important thing, difference from what natural English language from Sanskrit is that the gender in Sanskrit is grammatical, but not biological. This is a very important thing for you to make a note. What does this mean? Means the gender is actually tied to the word itself, not to the object it's pointing to. For example, this is an example of a table for snow. Snow can have pullinga words indicating snow. For example, avashyayaha, niharaha, tusharaha. Okay. It can also have a feminine or strilinga word, mihika, or napunsakalinga word also. Tuhinam, himam, praleyam. Okay, like that. So why so much variety is there? This all so that our acharyas can compile the shlokas at their own free choice. Main thing, our Sanskrit heritage is based on composing shlokas. Lot of, because it's easy to memorize shlokas. Any concepts are expressed in shlokas more than prose. Even Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, for example, it's our magnum opus. And Rupa Goswami has written in the form of shloka format. So we can easily memorize shlokas easily. Then the concepts automatically flows through the shlokas. So then they will have to, the authors have to think, oh, especially there are strict rules with respect to chandas, meters, how, which lagu, guru, everything has to be placed. So they need to have lot of options, which words to choose, even though they know which object they need to refer to. Hence, there is so much, also so much variety in Sanskrit language. That's one application of it actually. Now the question is, if it's a grammatical, you understood, right? What does it mean not biological? See, for example, in English language, all male people are considered masculine or addressed as masculine, like he, like that. And all the female persons, like for example, even physically who are female, they're addressed as she. And all the table, chair, who cannot be categorized as man or female, they are addressed as neuter. So it's all biological based on how they are born, for example. But whereas in Sanskritam, it is associated with the word itself. Hopefully now it's clear for you, right? So now the question is, then how do I identify which gender? Because it's very important. The gender of the word is very important because that determines which table to refer to and how the word transforms. So the question will be, how do I know which gender it is? So one clue commonly it's given initially is this, which I will explain. And what is that is, generally Pullinga Shabdas end with Visarga in their usage, like Ramaha, Krishnaha, like that. We see, right? Narayana, Vishnu, like that. Strilingas end with Dirga. So you can easily kind of remember this. Usually you can say, oh, girls have long hair, like that. So it's Dirga letters are there. A or E, not a small one. A or E, not that one. Dirga one. A or E. See, for example, Radha, Gopi, like that. Napunsakalinga ends with like Patram, Pushpam, Phalam, Toyam, like that. So initially, when I was teaching our boys, these lingas, and I wanted them to like learn this, so I had made a small poem for them to, kind of assimilate this together. So of course, all of you are so grown up, maybe you don't need poems. But I can try to, it's there in our resources also, you can listen to this, but I'll try to share that here. Okay. Pullingaha ends with aha, Ramaha Krishnaha. Strilingaha ends with R-E, Radha Gopi. Napunsakalingaha ends with Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. These are the three genders in Sanskritam. These are the three genders in Sanskritam. Okay, so that's some rasa to our class. Okay, so now let's go to the next concept of Purushas. Okay, persons. Okay, this also concept we have in our English language or any other language, right? But there's a slight difference here also. So we have a concept of first person, second person, and third person, right? And in Sanskritam, we have Prathama Purushaha, Madhyama Purushaha, Uttama Purushaha. Okay? Prathama. We already always know Prathama is first, usually Prathama. Madhyama is middle. Uttama is actually top person, but actually it's given the last, why. And the mapping is little bit round, different when compared to English. So Prathama Purusha refers to the third person, means somebody whom you are talking about. Okay, like he, she, or it, or they, or them. Of course, it can be ekavachanam or singular, dual, and plural. That's why we have multiple brackets here. Okay, so it's a third person. For example, Bhaktaha Krishnam Bhajati. Devotee worships Krishna. Right? Bhajati means he does devotional service to Krishna. Okay, so Bhakta is not in front of us. It's somebody else we are talking about, right? So that's a third person. So the way to kind of wrap our mind around this, confusion from English to Sanskrit is very simple. The way you can remember is Sanskritam has a rich culture where they give importance to the other person and they put ourselves at the end. Okay, so you can always think the first row refers to the other person. The second row refers to the person in front of you, and the last row refers to myself. So we give a preference to ourselves at the end. Okay. So in Madhyama Purushaha, it will be like Tvam Ramam Namasi. You are praying to Rama. And that's a form also is different. And Uttama Purusha, it will be like Aham Radha Krishna Prarthayami. I pray to Radha and Krishna. Of course, here also the variations will be there. Singular, dual, plural. But this is just a simple taste of what it is. Okay, because all these concepts will be referred to later also. So we're all trying to put all the concepts together in one place. So just understand persons concepts we already know, but it's little bit different order when compared to Sanskritam. Okay, that's it. Now next concept is adjectives or visheshanani. Okay, visheshanani. Okay, what is this visheshanam? Adjectives is that there is a rule for this. How Sanskritam expresses its adjectives. यल्लिङ्गं यद्वचनं याचा विभक्तिर्विशेष्यस्य तल्लिङ्गं तद्वचनं साचा विभक्तिर्विशेषणस्यापि. Okay, so yallingam means yat lingam. So whatever linga, whatever vachana, and whatever vibhakti. Vibhakti I will talk. Vibhakti is nothing but division. Just understand something called division at this point. These are three properties of a word basically. Any word in Sanskritam, especially the word in the declension table, has these three properties. So they're telling whatever Visheshya is what which is being described. Okay. Now we have to also remember these terms. Visheshanam is descriptor and Visheshya is described. Okay. And the way to remember is, see, the long word has a long word in Sanskrit. Like that you can remember. Okay. Described as short, then Visheshya. Another example is, for example, we have sadhanam, sadhyaha. So the object is usually ya, ends with yaha. Sadhyaha is the goal. Sadhanam is the means. So like that. Similarly, we have aradhanam, aradhyaha. Aradhanam is act of worship. Aradhyaha is object of worship. So whenever yaha is coming, it's actually referred to the object. So we can try to, remember this concept with these clues that Visheshanam is adjective and Visheshya is the person or the noun which it is indicating. Okay. So the rule is Visheshanam always follows in all the properties of Visheshya. So whatever linga, vachanam and vibhakti Visheshya has, Visheshanam also has the same thing. For example, this is a nice example from our Vrindavan. Sundaraha Krishnaha, Sundari Radha cha, Sundaraihi Gopaihi, Sundaribihi Gopibihi saha, Shobhayamane Vrindavane Viharataha. Okay, the long sentence. Hopefully, all of you would have understood already by now. Okay, but I use the same adjective so we can understand how the adjective is changing based on the word it's pointing to, and it's color coded. See, Krishna, Sundara, we are saying beautiful Krishna. Radha is yellow color, Radha is yellow, Krishna is blue. Sundari Radha, the beautiful Radha. See, the feminine form is different. We are not telling Sundaraha Radha. That's wrong. So this is a feminine form. Sundari Radha, cha means and. Sundaraihi Gopaihi, this is a different Tritiya Vibhakti. Whenever you use the saha, word saha, you have to use the people who are following you. You should use a Tritiya Vibhakti for them. We'll talk about Vibhaktis in a minute. So along with, okay, we'll talk about English. Along with, saha means along with, beautiful gopas and beautiful girls, they are wandering in the resplendent Vrindavana. So Vrindavana also has an adjective. So it's in a different vibhakti again. So Shobhayamane Vrindavane Viharata. So you understand the concept a little bit, right? Can you rate thumbs up if everybody understood, or whoever understood? Okay. Yes. So all we have to understand is the descriptor follows the described in the properties. So then we need to understand what are the properties. That's where we get to. But that way, what happens is when you try to understand the shloka, it becomes very easy to put all the objects which are similar properties together. That means most likely they are their adjectives. Okay. So that's what it is. Okay. So somebody is saying to go a little slow, but we have things to cover also. So Mataji is try to focus. Then later we'll try to revise also. Okay. Okay. So because we need to cover content also. Okay. I'll try to go a little slow. Okay. Everybody is okay a little bit, or should I go more slow? Nobody's talking. Okay. Many people are okay. Okay. I'll try to go a little slow. Okay. So other thing is, see, this is called Shravana Samskara. Maybe many of you may be hearing this term first time. So it may be mind-boggling. So what you do, you just hear and maybe take your time to hear the recording again. So that way, when you hear this 2-3 times, it becomes like a part of your system. That's why you feel like, oh, I'm learning so many terms. What's happening? So don't try to absorb this in one class. That's why I told it requires homework. It requires a lot of assimilation. Okay. So don't worry if you don't get it in one shot. Okay. Yeah. So these are many gopas. No, this is Bahuvachanam. Similarly, here also it's Bahuvachanam. Many gopis. Okay. Continue. So now let's have a Bhakti Rasa again and look at our resplendent Vrindavana, where we have beautiful Krishna and beautiful Radha and beautiful Gopas and Gopis in this resplendent Vrindavana. Okay. So just take a break from our monotonous grammar. Okay. Yes. Okay. Now, few more concepts. Sanskritam has a very nice asset. It's called Mukta Shabda Kramaha. That's a Sanskrit term, but actually it means free word order. See, the Sanskrit, you can make your own words. It's not that, only words in the dictionary you can use. See, this word is termed, coined actually. So this word, if you search in dictionary, you'll not find it. So that's the value Sanskrit gives. You can combine, once you know the rules of grammar, you can combine to make new words. Mukta is free, Shabda is word, order. So what is free word order? Okay, I give an example of in Hindi because it becomes more easy to follow what I'm trying to say here. Okay, but I'll translate in English. What he's saying here is Rama Ravan ko marta. See, Ram Ravan ko marta hai. Okay. Okay, Ram Ravan ko marta hai. See, Hindi, there's a half syllable. There is akara is missing in this. Yeah. So that's a sentence we tell. Okay, but what happens if you put them in the reverse order? Let's say Ravana comes here and Ram comes there. The whole meaning changes. Ravan Ram ko marta hai. The whole meaning changes. Ravan killed Rama. It becomes. But whereas in Sanskritam, Ramaha Ravanam marayati. This is the same sentence is given in Sanskrit now. Ramaha Ravanam Marayati. Marayati is to kill. Ramaha Ravanam. Okay. Then this Ramaha is the doer or the subject. Ravanam is the object. Ravana is the object. Marayati is act of killing. Okay. Then Ravanam Ramaha Marayati. Even if you put like that, okay, the meaning remains the same. So just because based on the position of the words, the meaning doesn't like the first person who is listed doesn't mean he is the subject or he is the doer. Doesn't mean like that. Then Ravanam Ramaha Marayati also means the same. Rama killed Ravana. Or even if you say Marayati Ravanam Ramaha, meaning is still the same. Okay. Now everybody will be puzzled. How is this possible then? What does it, why or how it's possible? So this is where you need to focus and understand how is it possible. Okay. So what it happens is, so the Rama is the subject or the doer is mapping to a particular vibhakti in the table, declension table. I will show that table, Rama table we'll study today. That will be taking the Prathama vibhakti form. Subject takes the Prathama vibhakti. So he becomes the form Ramaha. And the object, takes the form of Dvitiya vibhakti. Okay. So that means this suffix we add to indicate is an object is attached to the word itself. This is very important point. The context of who is an object, who is a subject is attached to the word itself. So if Ravana is doing something, we should tell Ravanaha kadati. Ravana is eating. We cannot say Ravanam kadati. You understand? Because Ravana is eating. So we have to use only the first, the karta or the pratama form. But if something has happened to Ravana, then he becomes an object. Then we have to use this form. Just a little bit try to understand this. Then, it becomes clearer later also. See, for example, Prathama form will be Ramaha, Ramo, Ramaha. Dvitiya form will be Ramam, Ramo, Raman. So based on the context, we need to know who is the subject, who is the object, appropriate form of the word is used for them. So that way, the context is associated with the word. So even if the word moves around, the context stays with it internally. You understand? So actually, this gives a free word order, license, or the wonderful experience for the our acharyas writing shlokas. But it makes it complicated for all of us to remember these big tables. Okay, but that's the what is the freedom of speech they have. So that's why in shlokas it becomes very difficult to understand because words can be itasataha, they can be anywhere. It doesn't come in a prose order like this. There could be a word in the first line that is connected to the word in the last line. Then how do we connect everything together? We need to understand the context of, many context. That's how the whole course is about that only, right? Otherwise, it could have been easy. So the whole course is about trying to understand how to connect things together and then put them in a proper prose order. Okay? Little bit everybody is able to understand. The clue you need to understand is in Sanskritam, the context of the action is associated with within the word itself. Okay, that's the main thing you need to understand. Okay, next. So that's why here Ramaha Ramam. So because we use Ravanam, no, somebody who knows Sanskrit, they always know it's an object. Wherever he goes, he will be remaining an object. Okay, that's it. So now that's what it is. The Prathama line indicates a subject or a karta, and Dvitiya indicates the karma or the object. So we will discuss in the next session what are different vibhaktis, what do they mean at a basic level later in the next session. Okay. Next concept is Swabhavika Shabdakramaha, natural word order. Okay, Shabdakramaha is same word order, natural word order. So this Bhasha or this Sanskrit lady, she likes to express herself in a particular way. Okay, Jay Mohan Manohar Prabhu, you have any clarifying question?
Hare Krishna Mataji, am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji, tell.
Yes. Can you please go to previous slide? There was confusion for the
Okay,
second, yeah, like Dvivachanam for both for karta and karma is same. Like
yes,
Ramo, Ramo. So
correct.
it's
Yes,
so how you will distinguish just based on the context only?
yes, Prabhuji, yes, yes. So not only just the way words appear, we need to know the context of the sentence. So based on that, we need to understand whether it's taking the Prathama Vibhakti or Dvitiya Vibhakti. Good question, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Okay. Now, natural word order. So this is where I'm telling about technical terms. No, this is called Sangya Padani. Okay, you can also write down what does technical term mean. Sangya. Sangya means indicator. Okay, they're technical terms. So these are what we need to map. You know what? Because every shastra or every what to say, we call it shastra. Every system has technical terms actually. No, there's nothing mind-boggling here. For example, mathematics. When we enter, the teacher teaches. Okay, this is a plus symbol, this is a minus symbol, this is a star, this is a multiplication, this is a division. Once we learn it, later on when we use it, we know what it is, correct? So that's what we are doing actually. You know, initially it becomes like something new, but once we stick it in our mind and reflect on it again, it becomes our part of our system. Similarly, chemistry, we have water, right? H2O, H2O. But in a normal terms, we say water, jalam, like that. But in a chemist can call it as H2O, and we will be thinking, why is he calling H2O? Because we don't know the technical terms, right? Similarly, in Vedanta, we have Jivaha, Paramatma, Prakriti, Karma. We know exactly what is Jiva, what is Paramatma, because we have understood the, context. Sometimes the same words have a different meaning in different Shastra also. Anyway, let's not worry about that. But the point is we need to kind of get used to this technical terms. That's how we bridge the gap between traditional learning and English learning. See, I cannot translate all the words into English, then becomes too much for us because some words cannot be translated. So we have to learn what it means a little bit and then move ahead. That's how we bridge the gap between traditional and modern or English. Okay. See, what is to give an example of natural word order within Sanskrit, we take the sentence. Okay, Krishna went to the forest. He ate his lunch there. Okay, so Krishna went to the forest. He ate his lunch there. So then the natural order within English is subject Krishna, verb went, and object forest, no object. Or for example, he is eating. Ate is a verb and lunch is his object. Okay, that's a natural order in English. But in Sanskritam, it's different. So Sri Krishna vanam gatavan saha tatra tasya, I missed this word, his tasya bhojanam akadat. Okay, that will be a sentence. Sri Krishna vanam gatavan saha tatra tasya bhojanam akadat. So what does it be now? How the order becomes? The natural order in Sanskritam is subject, object, and verb. Krishna vanam gatavan. We don't tell, of course, it's a free word order. Anywhere you put, the meaning will be same. But there is a most popular or most recommended order. Sri Krishna gatavan vanam. It sounds a little bit weird. Like, for example, they say there are no rules and regulations for chanting Hare Krishna, right? But there are recommendations. You chant with, meditating on the meaning, and you chant when after taking bath. That will have most best effective japa for us. What is this? Japa sampati hetavaha, right? Manasamharanam shaucham, like ityadi. So similarly, even though you could place it any order, this is the most natural order recommended by our acharya. Just remember this, okay? Then, so now what are some more technical terms? See, in any sentence, what do we see? We see nouns, which refer to name, place, animal, thing. We see verbs referring to actions. We see pronouns, right? Here, for example, noun is Krishna and forest. Verb is ate, went. Pronoun is he, she, he and his. So similarly, what are the technical terms in Sanskritam? Nama padani. Padam means word. Okay. Nama is indicating a person. So nama padani, kriya padani, sarva nama padani. See, kriya is very easy. Kriya means action. So it's referring to verbs. Nama is indicating a person. So it's like nama padani. Sarva nama padani is also easy to remember. See, sarva means all. So that means these pronouns are used to refer to everybody. See, when we say saha, it can be referring to Krishna also, Rama also, based on the sentence. Correct? So it's not that the saha is tied only to Krishna. See, I could say Ramaha Sitaya saha vanam gatavan. And then saha tatra, we can say sitavan. Like he stayed in the forest for some time. You can stay like that. So that of the Saha could also refer to Rama based on the context. Okay. So somebody asked one question. What is that? Yeah, Padani is the plural of Padam. See, Padam is a word, okay? Padam is singular for word. Padani is Bahuvachanam or plural for words. See, here we have plural, no? Nouns, verbs, pronouns. So that's why I'm saying Nama Padani, Kriya Padani, Sarvanama Padani. Okay, that's it. Okay. So now these are all the basics of language actually. Now actually we get into the actually complicated thing. Let's see how far we go into this. Okay, the grammatical system, the purpose of grammar. So what happens in general, any language, you can think of it as like a literature work, literary work. Kavyam, it's called kavyam, it's literary work. It's divided as poetry and prose. Padyam, gadyam, these are names in Sanskrit, don't like that. So any literary work is divided into poetry and prose. That's what we see actually, right? So, and what are the building blocks for the language? Building blocks for the language are, first it starts with alphabet. Varnaha, aksharani. This is also Bahuvachanam. Letters, right? Alphabet. And then that form, they come together, form proper bona fide words, Padani. Then that words are put together in a proper meaningful way because, and then become sentences and Vakyani, and then becomes a Kavyam. Then you have now a meaning to be conveyed. They put together in a particular context and that becomes a Kavyam. Correct? So what are the Lego building blocks for the language? It's actually Varnaha, Aksharani. But they cannot be randomly put together, right? We cannot just say PTU, it's a word. That doesn't make sense in English. So similarly, Sanskritam letters also you cannot combine randomly. So there are, that's why the what are the bona fide words are given already, and how to form that words is given. And we need to, somebody has to tell us how to form those words. That's why a system of grammar is required. How to form those words, right? And also how to make sense of the sentences, right? So this is a very nice shloka which emphasizes the importance of learning grammar. यद्यपि बहुनाधीशे ग्रन्थान् तथापि पठपुत्र व्याकरणं स्वजन श्वजनो मा भूत् सकल शकल सकृत् शकृत्. What they're saying is, even though you, oh son, even though you didn't study much, son, please study Vyakaranam, grammar. Why? Swajanaha Shvajana Ma Bhut. Swajanaha means my own people. Swasya Janaha, my person, should not become Shvasya Janaha. Shvaha means, Shvapacho, we know, right? It's a dog. So if you, don't pronounce properly, instead of Swajana, you tell this one, you're telling dog's person instead of my person. Similarly, Sakalaha means everything. Shakalaha means a part of it. So if you pronounce wrong, then you're telling wrong meaning, right? Similarly, Sakrut means only once, and Shakrut means is actually excrement of an animal. So the whole meaning changes. So pronunciation becomes very important. So we need to know what are the meanings and how to pronounce them, how to use them properly. That gives an emphasis of grammar. Now the question is, what is the problem of, or what is the complexity in writing a Sanskrit grammar? Sanskrit, I don't know whether other languages also have the property, but you can have infinite words. Some Dandi, there is an author, he wrote a kavya where there is one single word. It spans 4 pages. It's just one word. That's it. It spans 4 pages. Because we can combine using the rules of grammar and make new words. So the dictionaries have limitations. You cannot just take each word and say this is its meaning, this is its meaning. It's impossible. For example, our Acharya gave this meaning. Bho bhuisha ishati. Okay? Bho bhuisha ishati. What it means is punaha punaha ichet iti preritum icha. What that is means is desire to inspire them to desire again and again. I have a desire to inspire them to desire to learn Sanskrit again and again. Okay. So if you have to tell that, then I have to tell, Śyāmalā bho bhu isha ishati. Like that you have to tell. Like that, you can add many, many suffixes and you can make a big word also here. Actually, for example, they say, right, we want to desire to attain Krishna Prema. If you don't have the desire, at least desire to have a desire to attain Krishna Prema. Then you say desire to desire to desire, like that you can go, right? So you can coin everything as a big sentence like this, or you can make one single word to indicate all that. So how will you combine all that in dictionaries? Impossible. So that's why translation doesn't work. Okay, that's what we need to understand. Translation doesn't work. We need to have a more ingenious way to understand Sanskrit. We need to understand how it's built. Then we can understand. So what Panini Maharshi has done is he has observed all the words in the Sanskrit language, and he kind of analyzed them very deeply, and he understood there are some patterns. See, for example, there are a set of 2000 words called dhatuhu. Okay, dhatuhu means verbal roots. Okay, what they are is they actually, it is said that one notion is that every Sanskrit word is coming from those verbal roots. It's just a transformation of those words, those roots. That's what one class of people agree. Some people uh, don't agree with that. They people say something else. That's fine. So there are 2000 dhatus, right? For example, if you take crew is, everybody knows this, right? Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudamate, Nahi Nahi Rakshati, Dukrui Karane. What is it? Dukrui Karane. Dukrui Karane is a recitation of the Dhatu table. Initially, when somebody studies in grammar, I told right last time, there's a lot of memorization. So they say, Hu Sattayam, Eda Vriddau, like that. In that process, you'll get Dukrui Karane, he gets. What does it mean is that the verb kru is indicating action. Karane means in the context of action. But using that word, you can make so many words. Karanam means basically the verb of act, the activity of action. Okay, that's what Karanam. Karta is a doer. Karaka is also a doer. Kartu means desire to do. Chikirsha means desire to, same. Actually, Kartu means to do. Chikirsha is desire to do. Karoti is does. Kurvani is doing. Right? So everything is coming from the same verbal root. So Panini understood, okay, there are only 2000 roots. Now I need to create a system by which I can add some extra things to these roots so that these forms can be formed properly, so that it's easy for people to make those forms. So basically what he has done is he has gone inside the words and split them apart. Okay, and understood, I made a system, logical system by which these words can be reformed. Okay, that's one thing. Okay, so then he also observed another pattern that not only this dhatu, many other dhatus also have a similar pattern. Like for example, we saw Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam. So can anybody identify there is a common pattern between Karanam and all of this? Can anybody identify what is the common pattern? What is a common thing between everybody? Whoever can answer. Sorry?
At the end.
Ends with ma.
Okay, is one thing.
Karanam.
One more.
These are all napunsak word.
Napunsaka is one thing. Okay, that's not the real thing. You have to go a little deeper. Okay, Archana?
They are doable things. They are doable things.
Yeah, they're doable things. Meaning is good. Okay, that's good. But I'm just observe the pattern of the word itself. Just observe the word. How, is there something you can... Archana, you can talk something?
There is ana and ma sound in the last two.
So there is a num.
Thrilling.
Num. No, it's not Sriling. There is a num all the time. See, Karanam. Sometimes it's a na, sometimes it's a normal na. That's okay. But there is always a num. See? Num, 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 num. Everywhere num is coming. So then he understood, okay, then I need to invent, I need to invent a system called suffixes. That when a particular dhatu gets a suffix, I will define rules how this final form can come. So once I define that suffix and define the rules, then that rules can apply to any dhatu and give the desired result. You see, right, how intelligent he is? He observed the patterns and he understood, okay, there are set of root verbs, and he defined set of suffixes, and he defined set of rules to make the words. That's it. His job is done. That's how he was able to combine all these infinite words into just 4,000 sutras. Okay, so for example, in this same system of suffixes is actually there in other languages also. See, for example, walk is a word, right? Walked, ed, or you can say walking also. It's a past tense. Otherwise, you are walking. Currently, you are walking. Eat, eating, or eat itself can be used also directly. Eat your food. Okay, walk also can be used. I go for a walk. But suffixes also can be added to change the context of the meaning and to change the word completely, to express the tense or express something else, correct? So like that. So what is the suffix he introduced is this. Of course, we don't need to memorize all the suffixes, but just for the example, he introduced a verse called suffix called lut. You don't need to memorize this. So kru plus lut becomes like karanam, like that. Similarly, another shru plus lut becomes shravanam, like that. So he defined a set of rules and set of suffixes. So what I was trying to tell is this system, Panini system, is nothing but system of base forms and suffixes. This is a system. Prakriti Pratyaya Vyavastha. Okay, Prakriti is a base form, Pratyaya is a suffix, and Vyavastha is a system. Okay, so he invented a system of base forms and suffixes by digging deeper into the words itself. So he broke apart the words basically. Okay, so what is a Prakriti is a base form, Pratyaya is a suffix. Okay, Pratyaya is a suffix, and Padam is a word. So what he said is any word should be a bona fide combination of the base form and the suffix. For example, another way to understand Krishna conscious way is that actually Prakriti is nothing but Shakti or material nature or energy of Krishna or Radharani, right? And Pratyaya is actually a Paryaya Padam or synonym for Vishnu. So Vishnu. So Shakti plus Vishnu is there in every word. So only when they combine together, the proper word is formed, right? See, energy and energetic both have to combine together, then the things work. So in a way, actually in Dvaita, they say actually every word is Vishnu itself. How? Based on this, because the pratyaya, unless the pratyaya is added, the word cannot be used in the Sanskrit sentence. Okay, the base form cannot be used. And there are actually 7 types of suffixes. We will not discuss all that now. Just for information, there are 480 in total. Okay. Then what rule Panini has given is that Suptingantam Padam. Okay. This is a rule he has given. What is given is, now actually there are 2 ways. See, earlier I told Padam means word, correct? That's a word we use anywhere. But now what we are understanding is a grammatical definition of Padam. What Panini, now once we enter into the grammar field, what does it mean to be a Padam? What he's saying is, unless the sup tingantam, anta means ending. Unless a word is ending with a sup and ting, it cannot be considered a Padam. Okay, just try to understand this. This is the most complicated part here. So, sup is nothing but a group of suffixes. Just understand that much. There are 21 suffixes. Group is called supratyayaha. Okay, soup. You can easily remember that like a soup. You know, English soup we have, right? Like that. Soup. You just remember that there are set of suffixes called 21 of them. They're called supratyayaha. And there are another set of 18 suffixes. They're called ting pratyayaha. Ting is like, you can remember this as T-H-I-N-G. Ting, right? There, you have to speak until N only. You should not do the G. That's a pronunciation you get here. Ting pratyayaha. Okay? 18 of them. So only when the word has both of them, any word has these suffixes, then only it can be used in a sentence. That's what he's telling. So then the first part which adds before the supratyaya is called pratipadikam, nominal stem. Okay, these are all technical terms. Okay, you may be hearing first time. No, don't worry. Pratipadikam is a nominal stem which can take a supratyaya as its suffix. Then the final word is called subanta padam. Means because the sup is at the end of it. Anta is end. The word which has a sup at the end is called subanta padam. Simple, right? This whole word has sup at the end, correct? Because it's added. It's called subanta padam. Okay, for example, that example is Krishna. So Krishna plus su becomes Krishna. Okay. Next one, dhatu, verbal root plus ting pratyaya becomes tiganta padam. Tigantam padam also. Like verbal root is dhatu. We said it's kru. Kru plus another ting pratyaya if you added, akadat came. Like, or we can say karoti comes. Like that, akadat or karoti. This is another dhatu. Okay. So these are our main building blocks actually. So for a language, any language requires nouns and verbs. So now we need to know what are the proper nouns, what are the proper verbs. So for that, we need to kind of go deeper, understand, okay, what are the suffixes and how the suffix added and how the transformation changes and how the words are formed. Okay, that's what it is. Little bit, okay, little bit technical. Now is the part, then how are we going to comprehend infinite words, right? So once we know the system of base form and suffixes, this is our Sanskrit state machine. How the words are, how you can make infinite words, okay? The crux of it is the dhatu, root form of the word, and pratipadikam is the root nominal stem, pratipadikam. So for this, I will not explain the whole thing here because it may be confusing. So for example, the dhatu plus sing pratyaya gives tinganta padam. Dhatu, pratipadikam plus supratyaya becomes subanta padam. So only in the blue ones can be used in a sentence. Any of the intermediate words cannot be used in the sentence. Okay. Maybe at later point when we discuss each of the pratyayas, I will discuss other, how the whole thing works later. Okay. Okay, now let's get to this some kind of activity. So that way I can give you some homework about this. So this Rama is called a Pratipadikam, nominal stem. Okay, that doesn't have the Visarga here. Okay, the Pratipadikam Rama takes that Supratyas, 21 of them, and it transforms into this table of 8 rows. Okay. What are the each of the rows? What does it mean? Everything I will explain in the next class. Okay. Usually I explain and then teach, but because I have to give you something so that our memorization can keep going. So let's try to hear and try to memorize it blindly for now. And next session, we will dig deeper into what it means and how I can use a word in the 3rd row, 4th row. When can I use all these things? We'll discuss in the next session. Okay. So what I want is, I will recite this once, and next time I will recite with one person following me. So other people can mute and repeat so that you know how to pronounce properly. So whoever wants to participate, only one person participate can raise their hand. Okay. In the meantime, I'll try to recite this. All of you can hear one time. Okay. Main important thing in this, I put in English also in case somebody is not familiar with Sanskrit yet, they can focus on this. So main thing to remember this is pronunciation. So here, this is a na, okay, na. This is pronounced, actually the letters, how to pronounce, I will also discuss in the next class. The tongue should hit the roof, okay? Ramena, na. And this is Mahaprana Bha, Ramabhyam. Some air should be there when we tell this Ba, okay? Air, Ramabhyam, okay? Not Ramabhyam. That is a Hrasva, okay? That's one thing. And here also Ramanam, Nam, okay? And this also, this shu also everybody gets confused. Rameshu. So the tongue should be little bit front. Rameshu. Okay, because we understood, right? What's the difference in how the pronunciation could affect the language for the meaning. Of course, I also didn't study Sanskritam from childhood. So I constantly work on improving my pronunciation, and I also keep making mistakes. So, but as long as we are consciously working, hopefully, maybe in this life or next life, our pronunciation will be pakka. Okay, but we need to consciously work, am I pronouncing correctly after knowing the rules? Okay, so now I will just try to recite a little bit. So these are the properties of this word. Okay, akarantaha. This Rama word is ending with a. Okay, Rama, right? You can hear the a, right? Next time I will show you where exactly is the a. But right now you can think Ram akarantaha. This is a pullinga shabda. This is the properties. Rama shabda. Shabda is nothing but word. Okay, first before reciting we should of the word so that we remember which word we are telling. Then we tell them each of them one by one. So everybody now listen one time. Okay. Akarantaha pullingaha Rama shabdaha. Ramah Ramau Ramaha iti prathama. Ramam Ramau Raman iti dvitiya. रामेण रामाभ्यां रामैः इति तृतीया रामाय रामाभ्यां रामेभ्यः इति चतुर्थी रामात् रामाभ्यां रामेभ्यः इति पञ्चमी रामस्य रामयोः रामाणाम् इति षष्ठी रामे रामयोः रामेषु इति सप्तमी हे रामा हे रामौ हे रामाः इति संबोधन प्रथमा. Okay, that is the table. Okay, so now we can have somebody repeat after me. Okay, Tanushri Mataji, Tanu Mataji, you can repeat. Okay. Akarantah.
Akaranta.
Other people can mute and repeat, so you know how to pronounce it properly. Otherwise, it's difficult later. Okay. Akarantah pullingah.
Akarantah pullingah.
Rama shabdah.
Ram shabdah.
Ramah ramau ramah.
Ramah ramau ramah.
Iti prathama.
Iti prathama.
Ramam ramau raman. Iti dvitiya.
Ramam ramau raman. Iti dvitiya.
Ramena ramabhyam ramaihi. Iti tritiya.
Ramena ramabhyam ramai. Iti tritiya.
Ramaya ramabhyam ramebhyah. Iti chaturthi.
Ramaya ramabhyam ramebhyah. Iti chaturthi.
Ramebhyah.
Ramebhyah.
Iti chaturthi.
Iti chaturthi.
Ramat ramabhyam ramebhyah. Iti panchami.
Ramat ramabhyam ramebhyah iti panchami.
Ramasya ramayohu ramanam. Iti shashti.
Ramasya ramayoho ramanam iti shashti.
See, ramayohu. Okay, tell properly.
Ramayoho.
Not yohu. Ramayohu.
Ramayoho.
Ramayohu.
Ramayoh.
Ramasya ramayohu ramanam. Iti shashti.
Ramasya ramayoh ramanam iti shashti.
Rame ramayohu rameshu. Iti saptami.
Rame ramayoh rameshu iti saptami.
He Rama, He Ramau, He Ramaha. Iti sambodhana pratama.
He Rama, He Ramau, He Ramaha, iti sambodhana prathama.
Okay, here you made a mistake. Tanu, what mistake you made here?
He
You said
Ramaha,
He Ramaha.
He Ramaha.
See, Dirgha is there. Next class, I will teach you again, revise the letters. What is Dirgha, what is not Dirgha. See, the difference between Ramaha and Ramaha is there is a line extra, no? There's a Dirgha. So, He Ramaha. Okay? Okay. So, what we'll do is, yeah, let's continue. Homework, we'll continue the homework. So, what is the homework for today's lesson? Of course, make notes. That's by default. Otherwise, this is like you hear from 1 year and that's all gone. You'll not be able to understand anything. You have to contemplate and at least read the terms which we learn new again and again, and recollect the context, what they are, what they mean again. Just walking, suddenly you see an object. It's like noun. Okay, what is noun in Sanskrit? Like that, randomly you recollect. So that's how you can store the names. And try to memorize this Rama table. Okay. So the way to memorize, there are 8 rows, right? What we can do is, you can do divide and conquer. Okay, I'll show you the table again. What you can do is, see, observe the patterns. Okay. See, as Prabhuji already mentioned, in first and second row, the second column is same. Okay. So all you have to know, what's the difference in the first and second column. And this is also simple. Ramaha, and this becomes Dirgha, that's all. Ramaha, Ramaha, that's all. Okay. Now you need to, so what you do, you take at least 2 rows per day. Make sure 2 rows are pakka, like this. Then you add another one next day. So we have 7 days before next class. So keep adding, but make sure when you add, you recollect from the beginning again. Okay, so you don't forget the previous rows. And then keep adding one more row, keep adding one more row like this. And sometimes you can write also. Writing also helps in remembering. Another thing is you recollect it in a different positions in your locations in your house. Sometimes when we sit and remember, only when we sit again, there only we'll remember. So what we should do, you should recollect that whole thing at a different location. Go to a different room and try to recollect the whole table again. Go to, maybe walk outside, try to recollect the whole thing. So you are actually not tying the memory to the location now. You are tying the whole thing to your brain, right? Like that. So these are some of the practical tips. I'm like teaching to a child, but all of you would have memorized so many things in your studies. You would know your own learning ways, techniques to memorize. But these are some tips. But don't tell after 1 week, oh, I didn't do it, because you can divide and conquer every day. Take 10 minutes to memorize one line. Keep adding. It's definitely doable. Okay, no problem. Just that you don't know the meaning. That part I will fulfill next time. Okay. Yes, at least you know the first 2 rows, right? Okay. Okay, so then memorize this, and we have created a YouTube tutorial. So actually, when I was memorizing this many years back, I always felt I wish I had an audio where I can repeatedly hear and memorize. It becomes easy to hear, but I didn't have. So what I did is, even though I don't know how to, even though I didn't memorize this, I recited just like that. I made my own recording and I was hearing my own recording and I was memorizing. But luckily now, because we did the children class, we made resources very short. Just this table is given, so you can put it in a YouTube loop and hear it again, because by hearing you feel like without your knowledge you will memorize it. Actually, that's also, especially when you're eating, for example, if you want a break from work or something, just hear it with the headset, just little bit, and you see automatically you'll memorize easily. And then okay, this I didn't show you anything, but that's okay. If you don't do it, it's fine. I didn't show you anything what to do about this. That's okay. Then think about the Shanka usage in slide number 5, how it maps to the maps to the vachanas, and how it maps to the rows, vibhak, which row it's point to, and which what does it mean? The 3 sentences. Analyze that. And look at your Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 and analyze the Shabda patterns from this Rama table. Try to see where Ramayana is coming. See, this table is not just for Rama Shabda. Like, for example, Arjuna also will have the same table. That's why, why you're memorizing this is any of the Akaranta Pullinga table, which are maybe, thousands of them, will fit into the same pattern. So once you memorize this one, all those words, you can use them in the sentences free. It's like they say buy one, get one. Here, like buy one, get 1,000 free, or maybe 10,000 free. So the effort you're putting it's so much worth it, because unless you see, one way to do any subject is always look up the tables. Okay. See, for example, initially when we do mathematics, at least they tell until 12, number 12, you need to memorize the tables so that you can go ahead and do everything later on. If until 12 also we keep looking at always the mathematical table, multiplication table, it becomes so slow, our process. So these are the basic, very basic minimal building blocks you need to memorize. If it's very hard to memorize, at least you keep reading it. So that way, when you encounter that word in a shloka, you know which table it belongs to and what properties it has. Otherwise, it will be like Greek and Latin. I don't know what this word is. You will not have any context. So that's why we are trying to slowly build the context actually. So if memorizing is very difficult, at least you read every day, minimum 5 times this whole table. Okay, so that way at least you will know what is bhyam, what is bihi. See, for example, after this, you try to read the shloka, vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhyevacha. Then you will see this bhya is coming here. It's coming from here only. Then you will try to understand, okay, why it's coming bhya. Then next class we will answer why it's coming bhya. Okay. Okay, next one is we discussed about Amarakosha. So previously I gave a very nice session analyzing how Amarakosha is very grammatically, or rather it has a logical structure in it, and how Amarasimha, who wrote this Amarakosha, has kind of did a deep dive, and he built this whole system of Paryaya Pada, or synonyms to put together in a very proper systematic way. If anybody is interested in this, more deep, more technical things, who have taste for it, you can have a listen to this session. And so, okay, summarizing what we have learned today is basics of Sanskrit language. We talked about they have 3 vachanas, 3 lingas, and free word order, natural word order. Because it's a free word order, then but at the same time there's a preferred word order, which is like karta, karma, and kriya. Okay, so basically the verb will come at the end. Subject, object, and verb. The purpose of grammar, because we have to tell them what is the proper words, then we need a grammar. Then how do we tell a proper words for infinite system of words? Then Panini uses ingenuity of creating base forms and suffixes. He broke down the words and identified the patterns, similarities, and identified the rules. Just with 4,000 sutras, he bound the whole Sanskrit language forever. Okay, that is his magic. And then once we know this thing of what is a base form, what is a suffix, then we are thinking in Sanskrit. We are no longer using dictionary, because I know exactly when Ramam is used, I know it's an object. I don't need to always look. Actually, dictionaries will not be able to give you what's the meaning of Ramam, because they only give meaning of the nominal stem, Pratipadikam. So you'll know where you'll get this information unless you know this knowledge. Okay, and we discussed Rama Shabdaha, and we gave homework to memorize the Shabdaha. Oh, now we have to show you how to type in Devanagari and some minor announcements. So, okay, let's do that. What I'll show you is, what we'll do is I'll show briefly in Windows, and then we will give you a clear document of both how to type in Devanagari and Windows in your resources in your course page. You can download it and refer to it also, but quickly we'll show you, because sometimes referring to a document is very difficult also. So what I'll show you is, there is in Windows, I'm showing in Windows, I use Windows. There is a tool called Pramukh IME. So I'll show you. Okay, here you go. So once you download this Pramukh, it comes like a zip file like this, in some folder you can save it. All you have to do is double click this. Okay. Then I will have to show other screen, I guess. Then, okay, I'll show the screen 2 here. Then what will happen? It will come as down here. It come in your taskbar. See here. So these are all the languages Pramukh supports. You're able to see my languages? Okay. See, for example, then there's a shortcut you can add to the languages you want. See, for example, with this tool, you can type in so many languages. So you can define your own shortcut. But for me, I felt the given shortcut they gave is not so good. I have to stretch my fingers. So I created my own shortcut like this. It's very, very easy for me. So once you put this key, you can switch between English and Sanskrit dynamically just by pressing this key. And you need to know how to type in Sanskrit. So if you go to show keyboard, okay, here you go. So you will get a help here. Okay, I clicked show detail. Then you will get a help, and then you can see different things in this. You can explore this further and see, here, for example, here Sanskrit. See, they are showing you how the different letters are mapped. We just need to learn this, that's it, it's as if we are learning. But just by practicing doing your homework, you will be able to get it very easily. So I started doing this during my MA and I picked it up. It's just a matter of practice. So for example, I'll show you how to type. See, for example, all we have to do is think like English only, but automatically that guy will change. So I'll share now other screen. See, for example, if I want to type Radha, right? So I'm now in English. I do Radha like this. But the Sanskrit, I do Control Shift X now. I change to Sanskrit. So Ra, Dha. So I need to know what is Maha. How do you press? All these things little bit we need to learn. For example, Krishna. Krishna. That's it. So now what I'll do, same thing, I'll try to type without the Sanskrit. And then I'll show you what I typed. For Radha, what I typed is Ra, Da, like this. Then automatically this came, like that. So we need to just learn how, see, Dha, Maprana, no, H is there, that's why. For Dirgha, you put a capital A. That's it. Like that, little bit you need to learn. Then you just practice, you'll get it. Okay. And this is the most easiest, simplest tool, because with this you can type in any place in your, chat GPT, or not chat GPT. What is this? WhatsApp, everywhere you can type this. In Word document, everywhere you can use this tool to type. Otherwise, it becomes very complicated. Google input tools are there, but that happens only there. Then you have to copy paste. It becomes very inefficient. Okay, that's one thing. So now we can ask one devotee, Advaita Prabhu. Are you there, Prabhu? To share and
Yes,
show
yes.
about Mac. Okay, so Prabhuji, can you see whether you have right to share?
Oh yeah, let me share.
Okay, I'll stop sharing.
I can't share, Mataji. I can't share. You
Okay,
have.
I'll give host tools to share.
How do I enable MacBook keyboard on Sanskrit to type Sanskrit Devanagari, and it will just give you the steps. But what I have done is I've taken screenshots here. So let me walk you through that step very quickly in 30 seconds, right? So you open open your setup, go to system preferences. There is a keyboard, and in the keyboard, when you open the keyboard, you will get an option called as input sources. And the input sources, here you will try to add a keyboard, like in your setup, right? And when you add a keyboard, you will get several options. As Mataji was showing so many languages, similarly, Mac gives you all those languages. And here, what you see, I have chosen Bangla and Devanagari, right? And then you choose Devanagari and you add it, right? So you choose Devanagari here and you add it. And that's what makes your keyboard becomes enabled to type Devanagari. And all that you do, so I have added it. Now all you do is Control and space bar. You see on my screen, do you see that I have this coming up to choose, flip between Devanagari, Bangla and QR? Do you see that? Okay, if you can't see that, maybe I have to share the whole screen. Okay, so you can't see that, then let me share the whole desktop in that case. Okay, now I'm just doing controls. You see this control and space bar, control and space bar. Do you see this option coming up on my screen? A, B, C, Devanagari and Bangla?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So all you do is, so what I do is I control space bar. So control space bar and I choose Devanagari. Okay. Now, as Mataji was showing, like you can just do that. So I was typing these words like Ra, Maha. Okay. And I use this thing, like that's how I type that. So it's as simple as that, right? So it's all about setting the keyboard and just typing it here. That's it. If anybody has any questions, I think I should paste this in your chat box, in your group chat, so that, but I can't access the group chat somehow because just a second, let me just unshare. Let me put this in a group chat. Is the group chat enabled? Oh yeah, the group chat is enabled now, right now. Okay. So all you do is put this in your Gemini prompt and then you can, I have to just
We can add it to the document, Prabhuji, so people can get everything in one place.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, on top. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all was there, right?
Okay.
There's two steps. We say enabling the keyboard to type Devanagari, and second is start just typing Devanagari. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for taking us through that. Okay. So
Thank you,
now
Mataji.
briefly we'll take questions. Puja Mataji, are you able to call? Okay, everybody is able to unmute themselves, correct? Now, I think unmute themselves is ready. So Puja Mataji, you can call each one by one, then we can try to see what answers. Please ask questions relevant to today's session. Otherwise, it's unlimited, no? So,
Somya Mataji, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Somya Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Actually, my daughter also wants to join this Sanskrit course, but I am there in Bhakti Vedanta. In that only I got this WhatsApp link and I joined. How she is able to join? She is not doing any course in Mayapur Institute.
You don't need to do any course, Mataji. This is something different outside. So, you are getting a link when we send a recording. I'm giving you a website link. Are you getting that link message? WhatsApp?
I'll have to check, Mataji. I'll check it.
Okay, I will show you 1 minute. 1 minute. I'll
Yes,
show you what to do. Everything is accessible here. Can you see my screen? Everybody can see, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
See, what you have to do is just go to this website, okay? And in the courses, just go to this course, okay?
Yes.
And then at the bottom, there's a WhatsApp link. Just join this. That's all.
Okay, yes, Mataji. Thank you so
Okay,
much,
that,
Mataji.
okay, Hare Krishna. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Shrijita Mataji, can you unmute yourself and then ask your question, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Like if you have time, could you explain the Govind Leelamrit verse that you meant?
Oh, okay. Very nice. So somebody is paying attention. Okay, wait 1 minute. Okay, let me go to that verse. Which is the first slide, no? Okay. Okay, so what this verse is saying is, so Jaya means let Krishna be victorious, right? Jayatu, right? We say, right? Jaya. Let Krishna be victorious. Who is that Krishna? Who is the root of the auspiciousness of all the Gokula? Okay, Gokula Mangala Kanda. Okay, that Krishna is the root of auspiciousness of entire Gokula. And Vraja Yuvati Tati Brungyaravinda. Vraja means Vraja, right? The Vrindavana. Yuvati means the lady. Tati means a group. The group, basically, the group of the cowherd maidens of Vrindavana, they are like Brungi. Brungi is nothing but bumblebees. So they are like bumblebees. If they are bumblebees, bumblebees like to go to the lotus flowers to get nectar. So this Krishna is like Aravinda. He is that lotus flower where all these cowherd maidens of Vrindavana are trying to come for nectar. Okay, that's this whole sentence. Okay, so they relish just seeing Krishna, just hearing his flute. They just want to be with Krishna all the time. Then Pratipada means at every step, Vardita, increasing, Nanda Ananda, Nandasya Ananda. Every step, Krishna is increasing the happiness of Nanda Maharaja at every step. And Shri Govinda Achyuta. They are just calling out, like, hey Rama, we say, right? Hey Govinda, hey Achyuta, like that. That Krishna is Nata Shanda, means Nata means a person who pays obeisances. Okay. So for people who pay obeisances, Sham Dadati, he is giving Sham is nothing but auspiciousness. The Krishna, he gives auspiciousness to people who pay obeisances to him. Nata Shanda. See, that's how this whole word can be formed. New word is formed, basically, you see. Shanda, Nata Shanda. Instead of Shanda, Nata, you can put some other word and meaning will be different. Like that. You can make your own words. So is it okay? Srijita, you're able to understand?
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. So sweet of you. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Kayur Prabhu, can you please ask your question?
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for your valuable time and insights about the Sanskrit.
Okay,
So
Hare Krishna.
we discussed about the Purusha, right? Pratham, Madhyam and Uttam. And at the last, we discussed about that table, basically, Pratham. So how Vibhakti is different from the persons, like that's, so how, yeah.
So Vibhakti, at this point, we will discuss that detail. But Vibhakti, so basically, this state, okay, so we have to go to the suffixes table. 1 minute. Oh, 1 minute. Okay, here, this one. So what happens is, the difference is, the Purushas are applicable only for when we add ting pratyas, only for the verbal roots. Okay. Whereas supratyas are applicable only for nominal stems. So when we have a big table like 8 rows table, that's where supratya is applied. But for ting table, there is another short table like patati patataha, which are about verbs. Like Ramaha patati, Rama reads, right? Okay, I will show you that quickly in the website. Just for your. So this is what I wanted to give you homework. No, you all can go to this ashtadhyayi.com. If you go to Dhatu Pataha, then you will see all the dhatus, 2000 dhatus listed. So what this Dhatu Pata has is that Tibhu Sattayam, this is where kids memorize. Edha Vriddhau, they memorize like this whole thing. It gives some English common meanings of this dhatu is also listed. And some Hindi meaning is also given. And now if you go, how to use this dhatu? This is a root form. See, I told you, right? Dhatu cannot be used in a sentence. I cannot tell aham bhu. That doesn't make sense. So to know what to use is this, that's where we get into these tables. Only the words found in these tables can be used in sentence. Now the context of which table to use when, all these things I'll be teaching gradually. Okay. Say for example, bhavati, Ramaha bhavati means Rama exists. That's what it means, essentially. So that's why this is the 18 suffixes come here. Okay. So these are 9 suffixes and another 9 later. So it gets complicated now. That's why I don't want to tell too many things. But it's a different table altogether, which table I didn't teach right now. Right now, I taught only this table. See, for example, to show that table, see, I gave you homework to do dhatu exercise, no? Similarly, if you go right side, there's a Shabda Pataha. Can somebody mute? I think Prabhuji only. Okay. If I go to Shabda Pataha, see, then you go add filters. We taught only Akaranta, no? So just go to Akarantaha, and I taught only Pullingaha. There are 3,415 shabdas, and all the shabdas you get it for free. Right now, only here in this only 3,415, but in whole Sanskrit there are unlimited words ending like this. So now, if you search for Rama here, that's why you need to know Sanskrit how to type. Otherwise, this will be very difficult. You cannot look up this table. So here, see the table exactly what I gave is here. Okay, so this is with supratyayas. Okay, like this. But whereas that other short table, and this makes nouns, kind of nouns, it's not really nouns. And the other 18 pratyayas, ting pratyayas, they make the action words, kriya padani. So that's a difference. Gradually we'll understand. If somebody finding it too mind-boggling at this point, don't worry, because K.U. Prabhu asked very advanced questions, so I try to answer that. Is it okay, Prabhuji, now? You're okay a little bit?
Yeah, Mother, I'm just trying to understand. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Vishakha ji, can you please ask your question?
Yes, Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you. Mataji, I had last time I was not able to attend the class, so I saw the message later. I'm not. Is it still possible to add me in a group? The study that you were creating?
The WhatsApp group, right?
The study group you sent the message.
Study group. Are you in any of the other groups?
Yes, I'm in the WhatsApp group, Mataji, for the Saturday.
That group has a link, no, to join. Anytime you can join.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other thing is, for some reason, I'm not able to copy the homework that you have given. So would you be adding that homework onto the group, in the group chat also? So that would be helpful.
Yeah. So usually I will also try to add it, or message becomes too big. Anyway, I'm sharing the PDF with you, no? It's in the part of the PDF. You can download and you can screenshot that and access the links from there.
Okay, sure.
Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Tarun Prabhuji, can you ask your question, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you Mataji for nice class. Mataji, एक question था मेरा about the Visheshanam, where you have written Visheshanam, that is descriptor, follows Visheshya, described. Here follows means in the sequence order in which it has to be written, or is it does it mean something else, follows? So because
yeah, Prabhu, I understand. Sorry. It means the properties. We just briefly touched upon it. So basically, here follows the properties. Maybe I didn't explain the shloka fully. Maybe that's why you're confused. So basically, these are the properties of a word: lingam, vachanam, and vibhakti. So what this shloka is telling is, whatever are the linga, vachana, and vibhakti of the visheshya, same linga and vachana vibhakti will be of the visheshana. Okay. So it's following, it's essentially it's avatara. You know, for
Okay.
example, Visheshya wears blue color, Visheshana also wears blue color. It's like that.
Mhm.
Like that. If
So,
we say Visheshya is a girl, Visheshana also should be a girl.
okay, okay.
That's
So
why I
here
gave this
follow, yeah,
example now.
understood, understood.
Ah,
So
okay.
here actually follows means it follow the same rules, basically. That's what you're trying to say.
Not rules, it will have same properties. Each word has properties.
Yeah.
That properties will be exactly same. See, for example, to say beautiful, I can say Sundaraha, I can say Sundari, or I can say Sundaram. But Sundaraha is Pullinga form, Sundari is a Strilinga form, and Sundaram is a Napuntaka Linga form. I cannot tell
Right.
Sundaraha Radha because Radha is Strilinga.
Correct.
I have to use
Yeah.
only Sundari Radha.
Understood, understood. Mataji. Thank you.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Mataji, the group chat is still disabled, but it is okay for this session. And since even though you have copied the message there, but we are not able to copy and paste it in our this thing. It is okay
Okay.
because you will be sharing
Can you?
PDF and all that. Fine.
Yeah, I will share the PDF also, and you also can try to take a screenshot. See, somebody can help me. You know, in my settings, it shows that the chat is enabled. I don't know where that is, hidden setting, but anyway, next class onwards, globally, I will enable chat. So we'll not
Sure.
have this problem. So just for this time, you can try to take a screenshot, or anyway, I'll share the PDF. Okay?
Sure. Mataji. Thanks a
Because
lot.
I do
Mataji. Thanks for your
children classes, so I disable the chat. Otherwise, you know, they will look at me, but they'll be chatting with other friends. So I don't know what's happening.
Right.
So, but you know, I can enable it. It's okay. Thank you. No problem.
Mataji, one more comment I had is that the last table, Akaranta, Pullinga, Ram Shabda. So when you were pronouncing that, I was somehow getting confused with the Visarg and non-Visarg words like Shabdaha and Akaranta. I mean, I was feeling like there was a sound of ha coming in Akarantaha and Pullinga and Ramaha also, but maybe I was not listening properly.
No, that's correct. I was not reading as it is from the what I was telling. That's a correct Prabhu, what you point out. So, okay, wait. Krishna. See, this is a compound word. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you tell everything in one shot, sometimes people are repeating, will not be able to pick it up. So I am breaking into individual words. When you do individual words, I cannot use the pratipadikam as a word. It's not a proper word. So I have to use with the visarga. So I have to tell, understand, right? So I cannot use Rama in a sentence. I cannot say Rama Gachati. I have to tell Rama Gachati only, right?
Okay.
So I am now, I have split this word into individual words. That's why I'm saying Akarantaha, Pullingaha, Rama Shabdaha. See, I can also tell Ramaha Shabdaha also I can do. But Rama Shabda I combine together. Thank you for observing. You are very, very
Thank
precise.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and one more last comment I have is that if we know the vibhaktis, meaning like I know that first is karta, then second is karma and karan, and like that it is. So it becomes easier to connect because like when we say ne Ram ne kiya, so Rama has to be used, and then karta ne karam ko Ram ko ye diya to Ramam has to be used like that. So I know you said that you will cover vibhakti in the next class, but when we know the vibhakti's meaning, what is prathama, what is dvitiya, what is tritiya, then it is easy and to remember the words like how to connect these things.
Yes, Prabhu.
Basically.
That's what exactly I will teach next class. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Okay. Actually, you know, we may be running too late. So any questions relevant to this class only anybody has? Otherwise, other things you can even message me like that. So I don't know how other people have other questions. Okay.
My only query is like at 7 p.m. will we have class today?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Okay, quickly, Parashreya Das Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, humble obeisances. Mataji, just one question, like in Shad Gosham Ashtakam, we say Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghu Yugo. So this is just Duyoshan, right? Rupa Sanatano.
Yes.
The O. Is it correct, right?
Yes. Correct. Yes. Okay, thank you. I think everybody is done, right? Anybody else is there? No, right? Okay, good.